Welcome back to the Green Yard. It is a beautiful beginning of October day here in Phoenix, Arizona, Zone 9B. I'm over here, it originally was like no man's land. Eventually, where the camera is, we put our in-ground trampoline this year, and then eventually we're gonna do kind of a playground area over here. Our garden is off to the side here, and then behind me is our pool here in the Green Yard. You can see some things are a little bit overgrown. It's been a little hard to keep up on maintenance this fall, just with everything going on outside of the Green Yard. I'm over here next to our beautiful brown turkey fig. Once again, it was a mystery fig. I believe it's a brown turkey. It's really taken over this year, getting really, really big. Behind me, we have a whole plethora of bananas. This one here is our ice cream banana. I actually have a rack that is just starting to turn yellow. I learned after my harvesting video that I actually need to just harvest a banana at a time or a hand at a time off of the rack while it's still on the tree. Otherwise, I don't get to eat them all, and either they go to waste or I have to freeze them or compost them. So just harvesting a hand at a time, I get the most out of those bananas, and none of them really go to waste. So I'm practicing doing that with our rack of bananas that's over here. I also have our dwarf Namwa, which is doing really well this year too. It actually put out a rack of really small bananas. I don't know why, but it put out a really small banana rack this time. Next to me here is our um, uh, a red Mexican guava. I wanted to get the white guavas, but they did not have any at the nursery that I go to, so I did get this Mexican red guava. It's supposed to be delicious still as well. And then, of course, the reason that we're here is for this plant that's next to me here. This is our ice cream bean tree. And so one thing that I'm trying to do a new segment. We have our growing videos where I talk about growing like a soursop tree we just did, or a jackfruit tree, and I talk about growing those trees here in the Phoenix area, my experiences. But I thought it would be better to kind of add a little twist to those growing videos and do an update video. So this is my first year with an ice cream bean tree here in Phoenix, Arizona. How did we do? How is it going? How is it growing? So on and so forth. So let's go ahead and jump in and talk about our ice cream bean tree after 1 year in the ground. Here we go. Here's that rack of bananas I was talking about. It actually looks like there's one ripe on here. Might even be ready for the picking. Let's see if we can get it off real quick. No, it's still a little bit stuck on there. I'd have to have a knife to get it off. But yeah, we have this kind of mini rack. You can tell the bananas are ripe because the edges aren't as defined as some of our other bananas. This one actually might be ripe here. Yeah, that one looks like it's good. There we go. So just harvesting a nice ice cream banana here while we're talking about our ice cream bean tree. It's actually another rack on this clump as well. Mexican red guava. One thing that I'm really proud about actually is our angel trumpet tree. That's a new plant this year on the other side of the fence. It looks like it needs a little bit of water. But it's been doing really, really well. Same with our plumeria that's over on the pool side. It's been doing amazing too. This one actually put off flowers this year. None of our other plumerias put off flowers, so it's really great to see this one do so well. Here's our angel trumpet tree. Really excited that it came back. It wasn't looking very good, and it came back kind of with a vengeance. So I think it's going to do pretty well this year. Our dwarf Namwa has been putting off a whole bunch of pups as well, which is really amazing to see. And then of course we have kind of this jungle that started back here with our brown turkey fig. So let's talk though about the plant of the hour, this ice cream bean. So one thing that's really cool with the ice cream bean is that they're seedlings, so they're growing from seed. So they're not grafted or anything. You'll notice that this one's gotten to be about almost 4 feet tall. This is actually not it's the original tree, but all this is new growth as of about June this year. So I made a mistake with my ice cream bean and I forgot how old it was. I thought that it had been in the ground a lot longer than it has. It's been actually a little bit less than a year that it's been in the ground. That's why we're doing this year update video. And so I went into summer thinking, hey, it's going to do great in the summer because they love our heat and love our full sun, not realizing that this is actually its first full summer. And last summer, last fall when I planted it, it was a really nice fall and we got a lot of rain and stuff too. So what ended up happening is it died back. It literally died back to the roots. So this was the original tree that we had growing. And since it's a seedling, it doesn't matter. I can have this. It looks like it's going to be multi-trunk, this new tree that's coming up. But a little bit frustrating that this tree went ahead and died. But at least we have all of this really, really great new growth. It's actually a lot healthier than it was before. So it's almost like I hit a reset button for our ice cream bean. And now we have this beautiful, really, really healthy new growth. We're finding a little bit of bugs here and there. You can see these curled leaves like this one right here. That signifies that there's some bugs in there, but it's nothing like what it was before. We had a really bad infestation before. Um, and so it's nice to see it do so well and just grow with a vengeance. It really does show you how quick our ice cream bean trees can grow here in Phoenix. Because, like I said, this one died literally back to the ground, and it's already about 3.5 feet tall, coming into the fall this year, and that's all since June. It died back in June when we actually end of June, beginning of July when we started getting that really intense heat is when it started dying back. So I mentioned before about those pests that were affecting our ice cream bean tree. The biggest one were mealy bugs. It had a really bad mealy bug infestation since I got it from the nursery. And apparently our mealy bugs are the ones that really, 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 really like ice cream beans. Like this is almost their favorite tree, and they will almost always infect our ice cream bean trees. And so one thing that I found with with it dying back and coming back is that there are no more mealy bugs anymore. I was getting to the point where sections of the tree were starting to become so infested that they were struggling to survive. And now, after it died back, all of those mealy bugs died along with the tree since there wasn't any food anymore. And now we're seeing this really great new growth on here that's mostly pest free, which is awesome to see. So the one other thing I wanted to mention was over the winter. Winter's kind of our main adversary to our ice cream bean tree, typically, especially as it gets older. Obviously, I had some issues with the record-breaking heat that we had this summer just because I forgot about the age. Once it was shaded, it did great. I just needed to give it a little bit more afternoon shade. After about noon is when it got shaded. Moving on from here, it will get sun pretty much all day. I think it's pretty acclimated to it now after it's been through that intense heat last summer. I might supply supplemental shade. We'll see how next summer goes. But it did make it through last winter as well when we had our, once again, record-breaking winter. The cold is really the biggest adversary for our ice cream bean trees. They don't like any cold below about that 50-degree mark. And so I struggled a lot just with the stress of covering it and taking care of it. All I did though is I put frost fabric over it. I gave it minimal heat through some Christmas lights, some C9 light bulbs. So that was my supplemental heat source. And it did fine through the winter. It lost a little bit of leaves, but nothing crazy. So I think that as they mature and get a little bit older, they can definitely handle our normal winters, right? Because we had kind of that extreme winter. But normal winters, it can do fine. I know some people have started to actually get fruit off of these ice cream bean trees here in the Phoenix area. So I'm really looking forward to seeing some fruit, hopefully, if not next year, the following year. And like I said, I'm gonna start doing these update videos for all of our plants in here. 1 year in the ground, 6 months in the ground, 2 years in the ground, and just kind of go through my experience with having this tree for a year and what I learned and what mistakes I made, what I did well, and then just kind of move forward from there. So if you have any questions or you want to see any trees in particular, please feel free to send me a chat, let me know, or comment below. As always, live green, plant lots, and of course have fun. We'll see you next time.